as a rogue, you ever wanted to sling webs and crawl walls for no particular reason, Tom Holland?
Well, then the Arachnoid Stalker might be the perfect subclass for your next campaign. What's going on, YouTube? I'm the Mind Flayer Slayer. Mind Flayer Slayer does whatever a Mind Flayer Slayer can do.
Welcome to our coverage of these awesome, unique, very stylish, and very strong partner contents on D&D Beyond, brought to you by Mage Hand Press that you can use in your games right now. That's right, they are official. And we're going to cover today the Rogue, not Spider-Man. Let's see what they get now at level 3.
You can magically produce sticky, silken spider webs from your hands as a bonus action.
Okay, this isn't so far-fetched, I will say, even though, of course, the meme here is Spider-Man.
Yes.
If you were, like, a follower of, like, Loth or whatever, this could actually somewhat make sense as a pseudo magic spell.
However, if I were going to allow someone to play this at my table, they would only be allowed to shoot it from their bouteilles.
Oh, just like a spider.
Exactly.
Boop, web.
Yeah.
And this web dissolves after 1 minute. When you create the webs, you can use them to do the following.
Pull yourself. You project a line of web at a point you can see within 30 feet, pulling yourself to that point in a straight line without provoking opportunity attacks.
Okay.
You can use this benefit as a reaction when you fall to pull yourself up to 10 feet in any direction.
Oh my gosh, you don't even need feather falling. You start to fall and be like, zoop, get yourself up. And I like how rogues don't want to be in a line of fire. Going past opportunity attack ranges is fantastic.
Yes,
Getaway, escape, utility.
Yes, it is.
Very fun.
Manipulate objects. You can use a line of web to manipulate an object that isn't being worn or carried within 30 feet. For example, you can pull an object to your hand, close a door, or snatch a small or smaller object weighing less than 10 pounds.
Okay, sort of like a pseudo mage hand effect.
Yeah.
Not bad. Obviously, you see what's going on here.
Yeah.
And finally, create rope. You create a 60-foot long rope of web, gross, and anchor to a point you choose. So I guess if you don't have a rope with a grappling hook, interesting, so you just go and everyone can climb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Web spell. You can cast web without using a spell slot. This makes sense. As a part of the bonus action used for this feature, the DC is going to equal 8 plus your dexterity modifier and proficiency bonus. When you cast it, using this feature, the web fills a 5-foot cube, and the spell's duration becomes 1 minute. You can cast the spell using the feature twice. You regain 1 expended use when you finish short rest, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Okay, so this is a free kind of like level 1 ability. You're not going to use this at high level, even though this isn't bad. It is a bonus action, not your main action. Thankfully, I think this power tapers very quickly off.
Ooh, yes.
You can use web, maybe then catch it on fire, but just a 5-foot cube is very small. These level 3 abilities aren't bad. I wouldn't say they're super
pretty mid.
Yeah, but they give you rogue a little bit of something for that Spider-Man flavor.
At level 3, you have Venomous Strike. When you deal sneak attack damage to a creature, you can choose for the sneak attack to deal D8s of poison damage instead of D6s of the same type dealt with the weapon.
Whoa, okay, so you can get up to 10d8 instead of 10d6.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That is very good.
One caveat though, poison is the most resistant damage type in D&D.
Yes.
But if you're not fighting those particular things, resistant to poison, or you have someone in your party that can tell you, what the vulnerabilities are, like a ranger, for instance, Venomous Strike actually does increase your damage substantially, I'd say.
Indeed.
From a D6 to a D8. So that's pretty fun.
At level 9, you have Wall Crawling. You become accustomed to moving like a spider, granting you the following benefits. Climber. You gain a climbing speed equal to your speed.
Hiding on ceilings. If you're on a ceiling and lightly obscured, you can take the hide action as long as any enemy that could see you is below you. Okay, that's kind of very specific. And you have to be lightly obscured, so, okay.
Spider Climb. You can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces and along ceilings while leaving your hands free.
How's that possible?
You just walk.
Shimmy. Oh, you literally just walk. Okay. This is like the boots of spider climbing, I think, essentially. As a class feature, not bad. But if they're replaceable with a magic item, then I don't think it's super strong.
It's not super strong. Level 13, Spider Sense.
It's tingling.
You make a saving throw and take damage. You can use a reaction to use your Uncanny Dodge. Having the damage, you take that round.
Okay, so more survivability. Okay. And I think you're supposed to be kind of like Mercurial, very elusive as a spider, arachnoid, rogue, getting on the battlefield without taking damage. And so it does have a lot of survivability, which is interesting.
I suppose. And at level 17, you have Paralytic Venom. You gain the following cunning strike options. Paralyze. The cost is 46.
Then we take that away from your sneak attack dice number.
When you deal poison damage with your Venomous Strike, the target must succeed on a con save or have the paralyzed condition until the start of your next turn.
Paralyzed condition is very strong.
It's very good.
I like that. Then your rest of the party can follow up on the paralyzed condition. So if they don't make the save, which a boss creature, really what you want to get this on is very, very strong creatures.
Yes.
Might be able to use legendary action to get around this. But if you do make it through, you do less damage, and the rest of your party can capitalize on it by getting automatic critical hits, which is pretty busted. So
yeah,
interesting. Could be pretty strong.
And, well, that's it for Spider-Man. This does nothing for me, personally. Just gonna be honest, it is kind of as fun as having a web shoot out of your bootay.
Yeah, I mean, what it does isn't too much more in your basic rogue, or in a way, have some magical items that kind of mimic some of these effects. There's some that are uniquely interesting. For example, make your sneak attack do a little more damage at the cost of it being poisoned. Maybe getting paralyzed off at your like capstone ability, but that's all it gets. So this is not as well worked as the other subclasses.
I'm giving this a D.
Yeah. I think survivability-wise, I could pump it up to a C maybe, but overall, it doesn't do it for me. Yeah, probably a D overall. So,
yeah.
Interesting flavor. I think this is way too memey, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd still maybe allow this on my table if you're playing Forgotten Realms and you really went with something that made sense lore-wise, like I said, like
Law.
You're playing a drow, maybe, or something like that. But otherwise, never a favorite, but there is one more to come, so let's get ready. The next one I think is going to be really interesting. It's a Warlock. Spoilers.
We'll see you next time.
Sorry.